Hi everyone. So in this video we will be talking about LLM, like what is LLM, and we will not be going into deep architecture of how LLMs are actually created, but we will have a basic idea on this. So the full form of LLM is large language models. And before we understand LLM, let's take an example of our parrot, Polly. Initial phase, she knows nothing, but she started listening conversations and she started picking up words, phrases. And the more she hears, the more she is able to mimic the human speech. That's how large language models are. When initial phase, they also know nothing. But when they are being trained with huge files or a huge amount of data, they start getting better and better. They are able to give you responses like humans. So let's say when we ask our Polly, how are you? Since she has listened to conversations of previous phases, and she have heard like I am fine, thanks, great, not bad, or could be better. So she is able to tell based on one of these answers, she might reply with one of them. Now, how does Polly decide like which one I should tell? So based on the frequency of like I am fine, thanks, must have heard about 100 times. So the next time when someone asks how are you, it might reply with I am fine, thanks. It might also reply with great based on the randomness which she can introduce. So that's how large language models are. They also uses a probability scores like what word should come next. They also calculate the probability scores for each word which is possible, and then they also add some randomness to it. So using probability scores and randomness, when we ask some question to it, it is able to provide with an answer. So let's say if we ask a one question today, it might give you some answer, and if we ask the same question again, it might give you a slightly varied answer because of the factor of randomness. This you must have experienced while using ChatGPT as such. If you ask some question to it, it might reply it with a some answer, but if you ask another question to it with like the same question to it, it might reply with you some different answer. And this is actually not a bug, this is actually features of how LLMs work. Now how Polys or LLMs learn. So initial phase, Polly started listening to conversations of our family, but as time grows, it started listening conversations of schools, offices, hospitals, and everywhere. And that's how LLMs start. Initially these are language models, and at that time they become large language models. So initial phase, they might be listening to thousands of books, but afterwards they start listening to internet, books, websites, code, and conversations. And now it has all the broad knowledge across all domains. So now if you ask any question to LLM, it might give you with a proper answer. Moving forward to now, where are LLMs used? We would have experienced this while writing a new mail to someone. Let's say if we write hi, good morning might be appended to hi. This is like an auto suggestion which Google is able to create. Behind the scene, a large language model comes up. The let model, whichever Gmail is using, it knows that after hi, most of the time we write good morning. So it is able to predict something, and that's where it is used in Gmail. You must have used it in ChatGPT. Nowadays smartphone keyboards are coming up with all these things, and we have code assistants, IDEs, where it can find, suggest bugs, suggest code, find bugs, and explain the programming concepts to you. Now moving forward, let's say we have some, like while we are teaching our Poly, while the training phase is going on, still the training phase is going on for our LLM. Let's say we ask good morning to our Poly. It might reply with good morning, or it can reply with go away. We don't want Polly to reply with go away. So while the training of Polly is going on, we will say that okay, if we ask good morning and if it replies with go away, we will involve a human feedback kind of thing, and we will reply with okay, this is not the answer I was looking for. You should say when someone asks good morning, you should reply with good morning and not with go away. So this is like a human feedback is involved. We start treating like based on we started providing scores to the responses which our Poly was giving or our large language models are given. So a human feedback is involved, and let's say if it is also something like if we start providing rewards to it, then it has learned okay, Polly's brain was something like I am being polite, then a reward or treat is given to me, and if I am rude, no treat is given to me, then obviously it will say that okay, I need to be polite so that I can get treat. And as we know, everyone wants treat. This is just an example of reinforcement learning, which while training of LLMs are going on, we introduce this kind of reinforcement learning where we involve the human feedback. And this is actually called reinforcement learning from human feedback. Now moving forward, we have multiple LLM models like GPT, GPT-4o. These are mostly used in ChatGPTs. We have Claude, we have Gemini, which is given by Google, and then we have Llama, which is given by Meta. So these are few examples. To try out how LLMs work, you can always go to ChatGPT or Gemini Chat, and you can try asking questions. Try asking the same question again and again. It might reply with you different answers. These answers might be correct, might not be correct, might be missing information, and that's how large language models being get trained. So this is it for this video. That's it for this video. I hope you might have learned something. If you like this content, please like, share, and please comment on the video.